Good morning, and if you found yourself here, get ready to learn with me. Today we're going on a serious adventure. We're going to try and buy, hopefully, an all-American canner from a guy off of Facebook Marketplace. Well, I got it. Let's get this puppy home and see if it works. Story time. Upon further review, after getting this pressure cooker home, I realized it wasn't exactly a pressure cooker. It's actually a sterilizer. Here we have it. It is giant. This is the part, I'm gonna have to get this changed out. This is, I don't even know. It's definitely not something that's on the regular canner on the inside, but yeah, when you look at here, it just says sterilizer. Yeah. It does have the same pressure geared gauge here, so that's good. It just has a different release valve than I'm definitely not familiar with, but I've saw some stuff that said you can take this out and then put in the one that's on the pressure cooker, and it still has your major release valve, so that's good. I looked, everything seems to be in working order. Yes, it needs to be cleaned, but you know, I expected that. All of these work well. There's no major dents. It's definitely old, that's for sure. But it could be a lot worse. I did get a super awesome deal on it. And so I'm gonna go online and try to get some parts to convert it to a pressure cooker. Now don't come at me, internet. I'm well aware that online it says you can't do that. But in this day and age, we gotta do what we gotta do. So I'm ordering the parts. When they come in, we will see if we can get this thing rigged up. We will put it together, we will test it, and we will see if it explodes. Or if we got a really good deal on a pressure cooker. Stay tuned. All right, are you ready to try this thing out? I'm nervous. So, couple things. First off, I got the weight and added it to my canner. All right, so I just replaced that weird looking thing, just screwed this right in, and ordered this online, so this should be all we need to do. Brand new to canning, have no idea what I'm doing. I've heard, again, don't come at me if this is wrong, and if it is wrong, then just politely tell me later, after you've watched my video and subscribed. I've heard that since we're gonna be canning for longer than 10 minutes, that you don't have to sterilize these unless you want to. I've heard you can just clean them because they're going to be sterilized due to the pressure in the cooking. So that's what we're gonna go with. I'm being a little crazy, and we are gonna go with homemade pot roast. So first things first, we're just gonna wash these puppies with some hot water and soap, and then we'll work on the ingredients. Okay, so those are washed with soap and water, hot water. So I'm just gonna dry them a little, and we're gonna go ahead and start working on our ingredients. So I'm just going to use some basics, well, basics in my opinion. We're gonna use potatoes, carrots, onion, some seasoning mix. I am gonna use pepperoncini, but I know that's like a high acid food, which you're really supposed to avoid, but I can't have roast without that in it. So we'll see how this goes. So I'm gonna be real, when I told my husband I was making roast, Logan was not thrilled that I wasn't going to make him a roast like today. So I am gonna make half of this for the canning and half of it for a roast for the house. We're just gonna cut this up into 1-inch cubes, and we're gonna divide it evenly between our jars. Again, brand new to this. First time. Let me know in the comments if I'm doing anything like majorly wrong, but also give me some grace. Does anybody else like not like the feel of raw meat? I don't like the feel of raw meat. I think it's gross. This is gonna be a 2-jar deal. I feel like it needs to have more meat than that because, you know, I want more meat in my roast. So let me wash my hands real quick. Also, this is my favorite cutting board, so I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna wash this off real quick and use it. I'm sure y'all were like, is she just gonna leave the meat out on the counter forever? Okay, next is potatoes. We're gonna do carrots, onion. So I need to get back up on the composting train. At our old house, we composted. We recently moved into this house and I haven't got it all together yet. I guess I might just do 2 potatoes. I love potatoes. Logan's one of those that he liked instant potatoes, and I was like, instant potatoes? Now I will say there is something nice about instant, but I love how like amazingly fluffy and buttery and bad for you homemade potatoes are. I like potatoes pretty much any way. I like fried potatoes. I like French fries. I like a baked potato. I like scalloped potatoes. I like mashed potatoes. I'm a potato loving person. Carrots. Onion. You know what I hate about onion though? Is when you cut an onion up, and it doesn't matter if you've washed your hands. You can smell onion on your fingers forever. I found the solution for that. In case you didn't know, stainless steel. So if you have a stainless steel sink, what you do is when you wash your hands, you just rub your hand kind of on that stainless steel sink and then finish washing your hands. Gets rid of it. It's the weirdest thing. All right, so that's what we've got going on. Now I still have to add seasoning and I still have to add broth. Now I don't have any broth today, so we're gonna do some bouillon in some water. I'm gonna do 2. So we're gonna let that work. We're gonna let the beef bouillon do its thing, and then we'll pour it into these and we'll get ready to put them inside the pressure cooker. Here she comes. Whew. All right, there she is. So first things first, in order to get the seal to stick really well, you actually have to oil the outside here because it's metal on metal. Just a thin coat of oil. That should do it. My kids are riding on the riding lawnmower because my baby is obsessed with being with his big brother. It's pretty standard that you're supposed to do 3 inches of water in the bottom. So I've taken a handy dandy spatula that I'm going to use as my permanent measure and measured where 3 inches would be. So once we get that filled up, we can start getting everything ready. Okay, it's gonna need a lot more than that. Now that we've got that full, we are gonna go back inside and get our jars ready. I'm gonna go ahead and put my seasonings in right now. So I'm gonna use half of a pack of onion soup mix. I always use extra garlic powder. A dash that says onion powder, it's just because I buy this in bulk. Smoked paprika, a little salt, a little pepper. The magic. So we're gonna pour a little bit of juice. I would pour the whole thing of juice, but you know, trying not to have all the acidity. And we're gonna put some of these in there. We still gotta make sure we have some room at the top, you know. We'll pour that liquid in there. All right, here we go. Wiped clean. We're gonna put our clean top and we're going to tighten it to finger tightness. So not like crazy. Just like finger tightness. Ooh, it's hot. Here we go. Okay, so we're gonna line up these thingies and then you're gonna start tightening on opposite sides. You got a stick lighter? No, that's on. Yeah, this might not work. I don't think it's gonna work. After all that, you live and you learn, right? I mean, we'll just see when it gets up to pressure, right? It'll either seep out or it won't. So, I don't think it's working. We've not really come up to temperature and I don't have any steam coming out of the valve. So, I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes, but if we don't increase our temperature or start doing something, I'm gonna call it a loss. Let me show you what we got going on. So we're at basically no increase on pressure. I have no steam coming out of here. We have this puppy on high. I want to say it's been on there for 20, 30 minutes. I just feel like there should have been an increase in pressure at least. I'm gonna go inside, give it a little bit of time. We'll come back out and check on it. Okay, so I just saw a sputter of steam. There's no temperature, but there is, look. There's a little bit of steam coming out of that. Okay, maybe this is gonna work. Do you see that? Do you see it? I see it. That's not a steady stream. Let's go get a snack. We'll return. I have a snack in my mouth, but it's happening. Here we go. Can you see it? Well, it started leaking water from the side. See that water sitting there? It was leaking down from the side. So that being said, it means that it's compromised. I looked it up. It said that it should pretty much never leak water. If it's leaking water, then we have a problem. Unfortunately, I don't think this one's gonna work. Maybe we can save the contents. And I guess this means we gotta buy another pressure cooker. So stay tuned for more of those adventures.